mean, some of we don't have a lot of the services that other sides of Fort Worth do, and that's the kind of change I want to bring to District 5.
Yeah, you know, I always tell our members, and my platform, I'd never run for anything, but we need to make it, when I interview Maddie or Betsy or Mike, any of these politicians, we need to we need to develop in the east side, south side, west side. I mean, not just the Stockyards area. We got people in different parts. Forest Hill, I just talked to the gentleman the other day. They still don't have a grocery store out there.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, we need to make sure that everything is the whole city and county is taken care of. So, kind of tell us, there's 10 city council members and 1 mayor. And I know you've worked with the Regional Water District Board. How do you think you can, in other words, if you feel a different way, a lot of our members say, Larry, there's too much development. Everything is going to be glass and mirrors pretty soon. And our group is about history and preserving it. And now I'm on the historical board, so we're going to have a vote for preservation. I know we can't save everything, but we could save some of it.
Definitely.
So how will you be able to work with the mayor and the other 9 city council members?
I don't think that'll be a problem at all. I get along very well with people. I'm easygoing. I'm more mature nowadays, and
Right.
I've learned how to get along with even the most difficult people. I mean, it's communication, honesty, the golden rule, do unto others. I'd like to treat people the way I want to be treated, and if you do that, I don't think there's any issue, no problem with getting along with the other people on city council at all. I know most of them, and although I don't have any kind of long-standing relationship with any of them, I look forward to it. I look forward to working with new people. If we can't agree, we can agree to disagree. We don't have to do it in a mean way. It's just basic human getting along,
Right.
to do what's right for the citizens, because that's ultimately who we're working for, is the people.
I just got a text message, a lady that lives in District 5, her and her daughter sometimes take the bus. She says the bus stops, if it's raining like today, you're going to get wet.
Yes.
And I've talked to all of our mayors in the last 10 years. That's been going on forever. We think, or I say a lot of our members think, we're more interested in new developments, putting $1,000 rooms at Billy Bob's or at the Drover, and our roads are horrible.
When you asked me about real change, it's something like this that I'm talking about. District 5, I'm sure in other sides of town there are covered bus stops. In District 5, a lot of people rely on public transportation.
Sure.
And it's just not there. I mean, I see the bus stops by me. I've taken the bus before to see if I could get to where I work. I work for Tarrant County Juvenile, for the district courts. And I couldn't get there.
Right.
I mean, I could get close, but I had to walk maybe 30 minutes from the bus stop to get to where I was going, and that's unacceptable for people who rely on that to meet their basic needs of work and going to the store and getting prescriptions and going to the doctor. So that's one thing that I'm really, really going to focus on, is making sure that we're no longer the stepchild, the east side. We deserve real services.
Yes, you do.
So that's something that's huge for me.
One of our members, Bill Palmer, we need to stop building new apartments and focus on roads and infrastructure and stop giving tax breaks to new businesses. Now, I had Michael Crane on a couple of weeks ago, and I'll say the same to you. I think we're an attractive enough city now that we don't need to be given tax abatements. And these people that do all these new developments we did years ago up northeast, it's 2-lane roads going to them. Let's make those developers pay for that.
Definitely. And then, just to add on, then you have these irresponsible developers that are coming in and clear cutting 50 acres, 100 acres of cross timbers forest that actually was there to help retain the water in
Yes.
the soil. They cut them down, replace it with soil that repels water, and then suddenly we're having flooding from stormwater, and people are asking why. I mean, it's common sense. Just apply some common sense to this, and those developers that are cutting down the trees, by God, give them a penalty, a fine that's gonna hurt them. So, I mean, why? It's just, I recently got my hands on a memo from David Cook, and it was signed off by Dana Bergdorf. And it was a memo that was sent to planning and development, and basically what it said was, if there's something in the ordinance that is questionable, side on the favor of the developer. Well, why?
Yes.
Why? I mean, on my 2.2 mile stretch of Randall Mill Road where I live, they put 1,700 new houses. Randall Mill Road is a 2-lane.
Yes.
One of the council persons referred to it as a goat path, and basically there's no railings. There's big ditches. We don't have sewers. We don't have lights. It's curvy. It's deadly, and yet they're putting 1,700. Let's say each house has 2 cars. 3,400 more cars on that road, and I mean, it's in horrible shape. The potholes are just. I mean, I swear
They're
you
terrible.
could sink into them.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I did see though yesterday, and I had reported it to the Fort Worth app. There was a huge one at John T. White by Walmart, and they were fixing that one yesterday. So I was glad to see that. But how many of us have had to call in just to get them to finally to fix it?
I agree. That's a big.
It's frustrating. It's very frustrating, and I totally agree. Make the developers pay. The responsible developers are going to be more than willing to come to Fort Worth and do the right thing.
Right.
But it's these irresponsible developers that keep doing it over and over, and the city allows it. That's got to stop.
Another question. Sherry thinks there's way too many apartments. They're building apartments everywhere. I agree.
I do too.
I mean, they're everywhere.
I mean, I understand that people are coming here and they need places to live, but we're moving way too fast. We don't have the infrastructure to support our current loads, let alone bring in more and tax it even more. So I wish we could slow down. So just put the infrastructure in place first. Let the developer do it if he wants to put houses or whatever he wants to do. I do like the I think it's called the form-based code.
I don't know what that is.
Form-based code.
Form-based code where I'm very tired of seeing A5 homes everywhere. Those little cookie cutter homes
Right.
everywhere. You see over on the east side, there's some neighborhoods that have a nice mix where they actually, you could go into that neighborhood as a young couple with no kids, get a smaller house.
Sure.
Once you have kids in that same neighborhood, your community, you can move to a bigger house. Then when you get older and your kids are off in college, you can go back down and you can stay in your community that you love. And so I like the idea of thinking outside the box and developing a little better and a little smarter for what the needs of the people really are.
And I've noticed within the last 2 or 3 years, we've found money to upgrade the South Side Community Center and this, that, and the other. What about the East Side? I mean, what is there to be upgraded? I mean,
It's too small, first of all.
Okay.
It's really old. And once again, it doesn't provide the room, the services that District 5 deserves. And we deserve just as nice a community center as Southside. But why don't we have it? So those are the questions I want to ask, because we deserve it on District 5.
so to make that happen, you'll have to get half of the other council members and the mayor's vote.
And I don't think that will be a problem. I think when you approach things as common sense and just that it's the right thing to do. I think people basically want to do, I hope, they want to do the right thing. So I think that won't be a problem. I think they can be convinced that it is the right thing to do.
Well, and the citizens of the east side and the south side in the last few years, I know they step up. They're stepping up. They want to come on my show. They're not silent anymore. They're saying, "Hey, what about us?"
Yeah.
And that's what it takes. You know, I've been on a panel with a lot of people that are influential, and the people called in and said the homeless problem, and I said, I'll tell you how to fix it within a month. How? Salvation Army, Presbyterian Night Shelter, pick them all up, move them to 6300 Camp Bowie Boulevard. It's fixed overnight. And but that's the truth.
It is. It
I mean,
is. That would
so
get it done.
it's, to me, it's out of sight, out of mind. We don't go down Lancaster.
Well, I know, and then we have other cities that are actually moving their homeless to Fort Worth.
Sure.
And that has to stop too.
We've got a lot of issues. In the past 18, 24 months, traffic has doubled. Very poor planning.
Very
We're moving way too fast, and I agree with that. I mean,
Yes, I do.
we got to put the pedal on it somehow, and the infrastructure. I've asked every mayor that we've had, how do you get potholes done? Larry, you got to have the Fort Worth app. I've had it.
Mm-hmm.
I've got it. I still dodge the same potholes coming from Springtown for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And it seems like, I don't know which way y'all came, but this isn't in your district. University, they wait till Friday afternoon at 4 to put all the stuff up to start. I mean, I don't understand that.
It goes to common sense. And there's one of my videos, I talk about that, how there's no common sense applied in a lot of city methods.
Right.
And it's just very frustrating. My husband and I mean, let's talk about Cowtown too.
Sure.
My husband and I run 100 head of cattle on the east side of Fort Worth in the river bottoms. We run Black Baldy, Angus Cross with a Gelbich bull, and we have a hayfield that we farm. We're providing food to the people, and we can't get out and bale our hay because the traffic is so bad. No one will let the tractor get on the road.
Right.
Or once he is on the road, I worry because people get road rage because there's a tractor in front of him. This is Cowtown, and
Right.
that's what we used to be about, was farming and providing crops and Randall Mill Road. Let's talk about Randall Mill. Randall Mill is actually named after a mill.
Yes.
From Randall, and off our property you can still see the remnants of that. There used to be a historical marker, but it's gone now. The history on the east side is just tremendous, and it's just a shame. I would love to be part of the preservation thing because we need to remember where we came from,
Sure we do.
because we're going off in the wrong direction.
Back in the day, one of our minority leaders was named William Madison Gooseneck Bill McDonald. First black millionaire in Texas. He owned a bank called the Fraternal National Bank. They never went broke during the Depression. He loaned money to the Stockyard, 3 banks. They never paid him back. So I bought all of Amon's memoirs. I've got them. And there was 2 people that Amon dreaded having to do business with, Gooseneck Bill and J. Frank Norris. J. Frank Norris was the preacher at First Baptist, and they've written books about him. But Amon would call Bill and say, "Hey Bill, I need your help on this, get your community." He said, "Amon, Rosedale, Hattie, all these streets, as soon as I see the bulldozers covering up the potholes, I'll get to work on what you want." But we don't need we need the whole city to move forward, not just west side and north side.
Exactly.
It's a cash cow, you know, and God, and the exorbitant rent you have to pay for a building and a house. I don't see how people do it.
No, I don't know how these young kids do it. I mean, they're in debt up to their ears. It's horrible.
I noticed that last last year, I guess, Maddie got involved in the school issue. And I'm glad she did. I hope the council will. But what is your opinion? What is the answer? How do you fix that inner city schools? Do you have any idea? Because I don't.
Well, I do. I do. Working in the field of juvenile justice
Right.
for 32 years, I see these kids come in, and if they're stealing or whatever their crime or whatever their delinquent behavior is, it's usually based, if you look at it deeply enough, not even deeply enough, sometimes it's just in your face. These kids aren't getting their basic needs met. They're hungry. They can't sleep. They're scared. They don't, I mean, their lives are really crazy. So when they get into school, how can they learn if they're hungry? How can they learn if they're scared? And once again, it comes down to services. And we lack basic services for kids and families on the east side of Fort Worth. And
Right.
to me, in this day and age, there's so many grants and great programs out there. We just need to look a little bit harder and put them in place for these families. I think that would help. That would be a start. But I see kids that can't read regularly in my job, and it just breaks my heart because what's their future like? Their future is our future.
They're our biggest commodity, our best commodity. I had a youngster come in from Pascal 3 weeks ago now. Want to know if he could wash cars during the summer? I said, sure. I just have a little basic 1 page, just one side application. He couldn't fill it out. He didn't know his social security number, did not know his address. And I just said, he said, can I take it home and fill it out? And I looked and he just had his name on there. And I thought, and he's in the 10th grade at Pascal High School? You know, so, and most of the kids that are, I think, in Fort Worth ISD, some of them are minority kids, and usually there's one parent, she has to work 2 or 3 jobs, so, but there's, my group, I've asked for volunteers. We basically say, hey, go to the boys club, the girls club, we're going to adopt 100 kids, not really adopt, but you take that child on, and when the mother calls, says, hey Larry, I got to work a double shift, fine, I'm going to go check on the kids for you, I'm going to stop and get them a pizza. I mean, we can be involved.
Yes, we can.
And I've heard that you can go into these schools and read to kids and all kinds of stuff.
Yes, we can.
So I need the city council to get with, I'm going to start coming down there, and I'm going to get our members involved. I mean, that gives retired people a purpose.
Yeah, and those kids need it.
Yes.
They crave it.
Yes. So I think that's a good thing. What about the, is it a lot of industry over in your district?
Yes. We have a lot of warehouses,
Textron.
Textron,
Bell Helicopter.
Bell Helicopters over there, the airport. I'm trying to think. But right now, there's been a huge increase in just empty warehouses. They're just taking up green space.
Yeah.
And I don't understand what they're going to be used for, but I sure would, if I was on city council, I'd want to know first before I allowed a big industrial warehouse to come over into our town.
Are you familiar with LTV Rise?
No.
Her name is Charbonnet. She's changed that area over there to where it's now, I mean, private or business and public together. But, you know, it was a rundown neighborhood. They used to have a cop shop over there. They ran them out of there.
Wow.
Over on Las Vegas Trail, all of that.
Ooh, that area's
And so she's done a wonderful job. You
good
might,
for her.
I'll
What's her
send you
name
her
again?
contact. Her name is Charbonnet, her last name. I'll send you her contact information. Whatever she's done, she's got the answer to it.
Great.
It's changed. Businesses are coming back. I think she got the mayor and her worked together. A lot of those apartments, I was told, are people in California or out-of-state owners. And they basically said, hey, you can either fix these things up and get the riffraff or whatever, the gangs out of there, or we're going to bulldoze your buildings.
Wow. And, it's people like her that help elected officials.
Sure.
And when I was on the water district, I don't have all the answers. I'm not even
No.
going to start to even say that I do. But I'm smart enough to find someone that does know the answers or who's willing to give ideas to me, and then I'm in a position to make the change. And it's exactly like that. Like, I was so successful on the water district because I listened to the people. I listened to an engineer that his dream was to have aquifer storage recovery in Tarrant County, and I pushed it up to the board, and we actually have our first pilot aquifer storage well on Trinity Boulevard. And so right now it's looking like it's going to be a huge source of water
Sure.
for our future. But that was an idea that somebody brought to me that I was able to put up, and we have to listen to each other because there's some people out there with some great ideas.
It's the community working together.
Yes,
That's why I always tell all the elected officials, we don't post politics on there, but we've got a huge vehicle to get information out there. That's why Texas ranks lowest for special needs for children. I didn't know that.
Yes, it's bad.
Uh,
When I first came to Texas, I worked as a school psychologist in Erath County, down in Dublin. That's where I landed from when I got here from Massachusetts in 1987. And I loved working with the kids, and I could see the different needs. But even just some of the mentality, I was replaced. The school didn't feel the need to have a school psychologist, so instead I lost my job, and they hired another football coach.
oh
And
yeah.
that's when I got to see some of the priorities in Texas. And there's so many special needs kids, and there aren't the services for them. In mental health needs in general, even with adults, and our homeless population. And we have to do better about that.
We've got a lot of problems. There's
We
not,
do.
but here again, we're the 11th largest city, and I think we're in a lot of better shape than cities our size. I think this current city council and mayor, I think they're actively trying to, address some of these problems. And I wish when they would have these meetings and you get people that come up there and scream and holler and call, that's not accomplishing anything. I mean, we need to be productive, and maybe the answer is bringing more people on board. I've asked Betsy, Maddie, Mike. When I was growing up, there was a censor board. They kept a movie from being seen for a better part of a year because Clark Gable was going to say "damn" in it. Why can't we get the faith-based community involved in some of this stuff? I don't know why the president doesn't. I mean, run this by them. The more minds you've got.
It's common sense.
Yes.
Just common sense. I don't understand it either. It's very frustrating for everybody, and hopefully that's something that I can get in there and just maybe drive home.
Have you had town hall meetings or knocking doors or?
Oh boy, every night I go out for 2 hours, and my husband drives me, and I walk around the neighborhoods.
What do the people say? What are their issues?
They're the same. It's the potholes, the infrastructure, the traffic. They can't get out of their homes. They don't have they have 2 choices for grocery stores, and it's like a resource desert over
Yeah.
on the east side in District 5. But what I've learned is that, Michael Moore is running for the seat too.
Okay.
And he had been telling the people at candidate forums how the east side lacks identity. And he's right. He's right about that. You can look at the north side, they have the stockyards. You can look at historic south side, they have
Right.
theirs. What does the east side have? You know what I've learned they have is the most diverse population you ever saw.
Right.
There's Ethiopians, there's people from Nepal, Egypt. I mean, but everybody's needs are the same thing. They just want to live They want to be able to afford their house. They want to be able to navigate the city without tons of traffic and potholes, and they want to be safe. It's basic needs that we should be able to serve them, to provide them.
Does the police do it? Is there enough police in your area?
No. Once again, the east side is so diverse. They could come from my side of town where the east side does a great job, I think, but they're understaffed. There's no way they can meet the need. The area geographically, it's huge, but the east side police department, they can go from herding my cattle that somebody cut a fence and my cows got out to a murder right down the road. So it's different, and those officers need to be commended for how they can deal with different situations. And I'd like to see them get a little more mental health training. I think that's very important in dealing with our population now, since there's such an increase in mental health issues in people.
Oh yeah. One thing, I think that with all this notoriety about the jail, the deaths and everything, I think people are now waking up and saying, I asked last time I interviewed Bill Wayburn, I said, how many people actually talk to a person when they're coming in? And it was either 3 or 5, but none of those 3 or 5 is trained, or they don't ask questions like they're trying. There's got to be some questions you can ask to kind of get a barometer of somebody's mental condition, and it's just it's a horrible
And then
problem.
again, there's people that retired people that would love to do something like that on a volunteer basis, just would love to do it. So,
Yeah.
it's just not that hard. It's just common. Again, I keep saying common sense, but that's really what it is.
I think a big issue is once we elect officials, that's it. We don't see them anymore till next election. I've told every mayor since Mike, let's have a pep rally once every 2 months. We can do it at Will Rogers, Dickey's, whatever. Have it on a Saturday. Everybody's got to wear a name tag and just start meeting each other, because when I speak at Juneteenth rallies, I tell the people on the east side, they said, "You're the only white person here, Larry?" And we do a lot of stuff, the bikes and everything. So last year I said, let me address that. How many white people did you invite? I don't know. And I said, we don't segregate each other. You do business on the east side. Venture out. North side, west side, and south side also have restaurants, tire shops, stuff like that. So we get in our own little niche, and
You're right. We need more Larrys.
well, people just need to wake up and say, hey, let's go over there and eat at that place and talk to those people. The community needs to get more involved, and I'm trying every day. I try.
Yeah, you do a great job. I always wanted to be on your show, but I was always a little nervous.
Well,
But-
people, my background is not, my family's background was kind of the gangster issue, both sides. But everybody accepted me, and I said, hey, I changed, and I'm living proof that you can change. And this year's bike giveaway will be the 39th, and we'll go over $1 million worth of bikes in 39 years. And you're more than welcome. I asked Councilman Nettles, Gina Bivens, we've asked them, come be part of it, volunteer. It's December 13th at Farrington Field. It's get there early, 6 o'clock in the morning. We open the gates by 7. There's no paperwork to fill out. Last year we gave away 1,120 bikes,
Wow.
all new bikes.
Well, I wish we could get away from people who concentrate on our differences
Right,
and just come together.
we're all people.
We're all people. Like my husband was born in Fort Worth, but he was raised. He lost his mother early, and Larry actually grew up in Mosier Valley. He was the only white person in Mosier Valley, so we don't focus on differences. We focus on everything that we have in common. Last night I had a meet and greet at a local pizza party and pizza place, and I didn't know, a lot of times the same people come to the same thing.
Sure.
But at this event, there were so many different people that showed up that I had never had the opportunity to meet, and the friendship, the kinship that was just the fun. It was a great feeling. And
Sure.
we need to do more of that.
Sure, we do. So y'all had a Fort Worth Report put on a forum, didn't they?
Yes,
They, Chris Cobbler and that group, they're a blessing.
they really are.
I interview them all the time, and they're neutral as I am, and they just are trying to make the city a better place.
They really are. And they're doing an
And
excellent
they do a
job.
good job.
Yes.
He's got a bunch of good investigative reporters, all youngsters, but they're hungry for that knowledge
Well, it's way overdue. We haven't had really good journalism
in
for a
forever.
long time. Yes.
So, what else would you like to tell the people about your background, or what are your going forward? We always hear candidates say in the first 100 days, but really, what would be 2 or 3 of the top topics that you would like to see something happen?
First of all, what I want people to know is I have an excellent reputation for responding to the public. I always work for the public. I've never been afraid to vote against the grain if it was the right thing to do. When I got involved, the reason I got involved in politics is we had a horrible flood at our farm. And we're in floodplain, and people will say, well, you built in floodplain, you deserved it, right? Well, this was a different kind of flood, and it turned out that it was caused by some unpermitted development on the north side of the Trinity River, which ultimately was taken down. The way water was discharged from the lakes upstream. But what got me involved was when I always just assumed that my elected officials were there to help me.
Sure.
And when I flooded, I called everyone I could, and not one person called me back. And that's what did it for me. I thought, this can't happen. So when I never in a million years thought I'd ever be involved in anything political. I don't like politics, but I like serving the people. So once I started learning what was going on at the city and how they weren't so responsive to citizens, that made me fight, made me get into learning how to navigate the city, who can help you. So I've helped my neighbors since 2010 with flooding issues, stormwater issues, trying to put compressor stations in our neighborhood, poor zoning changes, zoning requests, anything, a concrete batch plant in White Lake Hills, just different things. We have to work together to keep our community the best we can. And I pride myself on, if I get a text or if I get a phone call, an email, I respond.
Sure.
I respond to everyone, and I'm proud of that because I never want anyone to feel the way I am. Like on the water district, we serve 11 counties. So if there was someone in East Texas that needed help, my husband and I got in the car and we went out to East Texas to find out how we could help. And that's how I'm gonna be that's me. I have a passion for serving the people, but I have to rely on the people to bring their good ideas to me and their concerns so we can navigate the system together and make change.
So is it possible for you, when you're elected, to reach out to individuals in your community and have little committees?
It's going to be so community oriented. It's going to be wonderful.
That's what it takes.
Yes, that's what it takes.
And you're talking about those 11 counties. In the 80s, I built a lake house at Cedar Creek and didn't realize I was building it. Tarrant Regional Water owned it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a pipeline that ran all the way to Southside.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about water another time, but I've turned into a water nerd over the time. But most people don't understand where we get our water.
No.
They just think you turn the tap on and there it is.
Right.
But the water district provides the raw water, then it gets treated, and so a lot of people just don't understand
Right.
how most of our water is treated at the wastewater facilities, put into the Trinity River, goes down to East Texas where it goes through a wetland, and it's stored in Cedar Creek in Richland Chambers,
Richland
and
Chambers.
then it's pumped uphill in pipes as big enough for trucks to go through.
Yes.
And so electricity is a major cost. It's just fascinating how water gets from point A to point B and then back here where we need it. So I would love to another time talk water.
Oh yeah, and I always ask every person that comes on, whether you're elected or not, will you come back on our show? Because like I said at the onset before we even started, Manny Ramirez, our people love him. They send him emails. Come back on Larry's show. We got some stuff to ask you.
I'd be honored. In urban farming, I love to do urban farming. I raise my own chickens. We eat our own eggs. I give them away. I don't sell them.
And the price of eggs is...
No, and I meant to bring some today, and I forgot. I left them on the counter. But I would love to. If your viewers would like me to come back on, I would be honored.
So that's what it's all about. We need to start working together as a community, everybody. And if you had that pep rally every 2 months, 3 months, whatever, because people, you don't know people that can really help you. Oh, hey, this guy, I'm always begging for people to help me with the bike drive. So a guy got a hold of me about 5 years ago, and he said, hey Larry, my name's Guido. And I thought, oh God, what did I do? And he said, I represent the bike gangs of Fort Worth. They actually went in front of city council. They get all the bikes that are repossessed or police pick them up. They rehab them and they give them away.
Aww.
And I said, wow. And he said, can you take used bikes? And I said, we don't like to, but we did that year, the COVID year. And he brought me 100 bikes.
Wow.
And so he sat down with me and I said, well, how'd you find out about me? And he said, oh, Betsy Price? Yeah. She's on my bike giveaway 25 years. I didn't know who Guido was.
Oh,
If
wow.
I knew who he was 10 years before that, he could have helped me. So we don't communicate with each other.
No, we don't. We need to do
Government
better.
and people do not, and all of the people complain, raise hell. Well, we need to tell that to our elected officials, because you see the people that are running for office that you normally don't see on the social, they're on there every day now. And I mean, it's just a fact of life.
Yeah, and transparency, we can always do better. And when people get mad, or it's usually because they don't know.
Right.
And if we would just take the time to put the information out there for them to understand the whys, it would.
Communication is the problem. When that ICE-a-thon, when was that? 21.
Uh-huh.
So the lady at the Tarrant Food Bank got a hold of me on a Friday at 4 o'clock. Larry, we got this bill for $25,000 or something. So I said, oh my gosh. And so I said, well, we'll get our group started on it. People started calling the PUC down there. And we found out it was a company owned by Warren Buffett in Iowa. And so I thought, it was about 4:30. I thought, well, I'll just call up there and see if I can find out anything. And one of the options was to leave a message for the CEO. And I said, well, this is different. And I left a message. 8:30 Monday morning, this guy calls me. And I said,
Oh, wow.
you got to be kidding me. You returned all the calls? And he said, Mr. O'Neill, I was having a perfectly good barbecue on Sunday. And the governor of Iowa, and she's still the governor, called me and said, you need to get a hold of this guy in Fort Worth and take care of this. So our group is so vast. We're worldwide. We're in 138 countries. We're in every state. Somebody knew the governor of Iowa, and he said, if you can get a hold of the people, we want to pay that bill. And they did.
Wow.
And it's just because somebody knew somebody. I don't know who that was that called. But he said, I was instructed to get a hold of you, and we want to fix the problem.
True blessings.
And so that's what it takes, is people working together and saying, hey, can you help me out here? And I think we can get private business to help on a bunch of these things. Why can't we get them to help with these bus stops? I mean, I don't know what the legality of it is. Is it a problem we'd have to ask Maddie or Jay Chopper or somebody. Could the city start a fund and say, hey, this is going to go directly to putting, covers over those bus stops?
People would donate for that
Sure they would.
in a heartbeat. So it's just a matter of getting in there and doing the work.
So I think more of a grassroots type politicians are needed now, especially on our level. More than catering to the developers,
Yes, definitely.
That's all a brother-in-law deal, and
Well, don't get me started on that, because that's what the water district used to be all about.
so when does early voting start?
April 22nd.
Which is Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Can you vote at any place like you have been able to?
In Tarrant County, yes.
Yeah. And the hours, is it going to be, because the election's what, the 3rd?
Yes.
Yes, May 3rd.
We don't have but a couple of weeks
No,
anyway.
we don't.
So 7 to 7?
The hours vary, unfortunately, so I have them posted everywhere, so people can.
And how
see.
can they get to your website?
Mary at Mary at
Fort
Fort
Worth.
Worth.
Mary Fort Worth.
And also you're on Facebook.
Yes.
I saw that. You need money, block walkers, telephone people, all of the above.
All of the above. I'm not endorsed by any special interest group. My donations come from all friends who support me and know what I'm capable of.
I've been following you for a while. Joe Ashton and that group had brought candidates over for the water board. Paxton Motherall's good. I used to detail that kid's car when he was at Pascal.
Oh, Paxton's a good guy.
Yeah, Paxton and his dad, mom and dad, everybody. But that's what it all is our city. I had a guy come in the other day and he said, where I'm from, San Francisco, you're all a bunch of country hicks. And I said, yes, sir. And we're proud of it.
We are proud of it.
And he said, well, I want this. I said, sir, 32 miles to the east, that's where you need to land. And I mean, I always tell people, we want people to come in here, but just educate them on, not necessarily the Fort Worth way, but we start a little earlier, we're a little slower, we care about people, we know who each other are. And
I didn't get a chance to say this earlier, but might be for another topic. But FFA, District 5, why, what kind of kids, adults, FFA kids
turn into be, yeah, sure do.
Incredible. Why aren't we taking advantage of that? Why don't we use some green space?
That's a
put
great
in some
idea.
FFA barns, because those kids learn everything. They learn life skills, how to speak, how to get along with people. It's just, they make great adults. And
I live in the country and I tell people, country people are different.
They are.
But Kyle Polson, I don't know if you know who Kyle is. He's a big developer. His son is Jackson Polson, and he got involved in my bike giveaway. We always use the baseball kids at All Saints or somewhere to move these hundreds of bikes. When he was 8, he is a sophomore at Texas A&M, and next year will be the 40th year I've done it. And he knows what it's about. He's interested in it because he's going to be the future face of it, Larry's kids. And he cares. And he's steers at the stock show. And I mean, but you're right. It's not a knock on city kids. It's just, I don't know what it is, but they are more involved in.
That would be something I would definitely look into.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea. And we can help you. Our group can help.
Good.
I mean, I've had in the past, hadn't happened recently, but I've had city council members say, Larry, before you go live and start, let us try to figure it out first. In other words, if we're going to complain about something.
Sometimes that's what it takes, though.
But that's
You're
a
doing
lot of our
service.
members, they don't feel like they have a voice down there. And we've got a lot of members in your district. I didn't realize till I started announcing it, and they said, because I didn't know there was 5 people running. But I used to
6.
brag on Gina Bivens. Her recording was the best recording I've ever heard of any city council member. you can leave a message, and she says, and if somebody hadn't called you in 2 hours, you call this number and I'll answer. But that's what it takes. The people need to know that that somebody's listening to what they have to say.
Yep, and my cell phone is out everywhere, and I'll give it to over the air right now. I will answer any call, and it's unfortunate to when I do call people back. It's so sad to hear them say it's really you, because they don't even expect to get a call back from their elected official.
Sure.
And so hopefully I can motivate other elected officials to do the same.
Let me see if anybody's got any more kids need to be involved with FFA. Yep. She's very knowledgeable. We like her.
Aw.
Like I say, we have a very diverse group, and people are interested in our community because we want to leave it for a better town than what we got. And right now we're not, I can tell you.
We could do better.
Don't forget your phone number.
What's your phone number?
My cell phone is 817-880-5419, y también yo hablo español. Si necesita hablarme en español, puede. So I speak Spanish fluently, so if anyone needs to communicate with me in Spanish, that's what I just said, that they can too.
So another issue that I forgot, a Hispanic family called me last night. Back during that ICE-a-thon is what I call it. The president made or whoever the governor, we were a disaster zone. And up in the north side, they were calling plumbers. And so I called Maddie and I said, Maddie, the paperwork's that thick. She sent somebody up there and they cut the red tape, and I think the city wrote the checks, and then they filled out the paperwork. But I mean, we just needed stuff fixed.
It was an easy fix too, once it got to the right section.
Right, because the funds had been allocated.
Mhm.
So there again, it's
Thank you for that,
communication.
'cause that's what it takes. We have to help each other.
We have to help each other. You have to be able to get something done. And of course, you're not the only citizen in that town, but yeah, well, it's an honor having you on here. And
Thank you.
where will you be? Somebody asked me last night, is there a certain place you're going to be on the 3rd?
We haven't really discussed that. I usually don't have watch parties. I usually just stay at home with my husband and
Sure.
watch it on TV and pray for the best. But if there's a need for that, if people would like that, I certainly would consider that and put it out there wherever we would.
And somebody just said, you don't have a regular job other.
Yes, I
You
do.
do.
I work part-time as assistant court coordinator for the juvenile courts. So
Because city council members and mayors, when I first started interviewing, Bob Boland had just stepped down as mayor. And I said, well, that's not very much money, Mr. Boland, he said, Larry, a city council once a week, once a month I might do something. Nowadays, it's a big job.
It is, it's a huge job, and I would no longer be able to work in the position of assistant court coordinator because it would be an elected official working for another elected official.
Right.
So I would have to leave my job. But I have a good retirement because I worked 28 years at Tarrant County. So I don't, money's nice, but I'm fine. I don't have to, we have the cattle too. So financially we're in a position where I can support I can work as many hours as I need to.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people need help.
Yes. And
It's-
I love doing it.
Yeah, and it's sad that, and really, just like you said, it's knowledge is power, and some people have a problem and they don't realize there's something out there that can fix it,
Sometimes it's really easy.
and it's really easy. And they get frustrated, and when you try to call somebody, you're on hold for 3 days, and I mean, it's ridiculous.
I would follow Gina's lead on that. With her email, I would probably do the same thing. If not, my number would be out there anyway. Because it is frustrating when you can't get the person you need to talk to, or you
Right.
get a stupid machine or recording.
Right.
So.
Well, we appreciate you coming
Thank you
on,
so
Mary,
much.
and stay in contact, and anything, you still got time if you want to just address the members and say anything?
Well, just I want to say thank you so much for having me. This has been an honor and it's been fun, and it's, I'm not as nervous as I thought I was
Oh,
going to
yeah,
be.
it's-
So just thank you for your time, and let's work together.
Their
Make our-
Facebook,
make-
website.
Oh, uh,
No, you can tell them.
MaryFortWorth.com. MaryFortWorth.com. It's the same on Instagram and the same on Facebook or X, whatever they call it these days.
Yeah, it's changed all the time.
And then, anyone, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call.